If you're an 1, 2, ready. If you're
analytical, sensitive, or critical, you like it more the farther back you stand. But to me, it's fully, it satisfies me fully when I hear that thunder close at hand. From the new class, in marching society and students, conservatory marching society and students, conservatory band.
Did you just clobber him with the trombone there? Okay. So let's remember this. That was much better dynamics, much better energy than the last one. Let's remember this. Loudest, on the loudest parts is when you need to be most focused on the vowel and the quality of the vocal production. And on that band, a little bit, you have to explore a little bit with where does my voice start to fragment as I do this crescendo. And you need to know your own voice enough to know I've gone as far as I can in good quality. Now somebody else has to continue my work. Here.
Yeah, you'll remember we talk a lot about this sometimes with the baritones, where it's giving us your part here instead of here, and we can. And actually, if you do this, if you think of it as an offering of a note and that kind of thing, as opposed to a giving or sticking to whatever, it'll be more impressive. Because the technique you're using allows other things to happen. The expansion of sound, the ringability, the overtones, all those things start to happen. And then as you crescendo, it's actually more impressive with less effort. We've had those moments before, right? Where we've done techniques and all of a sudden you go, wow, that's so nice, it was so easy, right? We get out of our own way a little bit. So even in the loudest points, like you were saying, just be vocally aware of vowels. And then when we grow, you can grow with power and real ring and expansion and all of that.
You're making a huge amount of sound anyway for a 28 is what it's going to be. You're making a huge amount of sound for a chorus of your size. You don't need to push it past quality. And the paradox of that is that when you feel like you're really singing your loudest, the sound actually gets a little smaller out here because we lose the ring that comes from unity. Yes, if you're always feeling like 90% is as far as I'm going to go, volume-wise, that allows the ring to stay in the sound, the resonance to stay in the sound, and we hear it as a bigger sound, even though you don't feel like you're singing quite as loud. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I feel like if we're doing the crescendo, I want to turn and end up facing square with the audience.
Yes. Yeah, do that. Great idea. Put a star next to his name today.
He's got 2 on his shirt. But,
All right, so very last chord, take your crescendo and... Okay, and out to the audience. Yeah, give it to them.
Give it to the audience.
We want to give it to them, right? We don't want to go home with it. We want to give it to them. Very good.
One thing I just want to address is now the last 3 or 4 times you've started from this place, you've started slowly and Rich has had to clap you in tempo. The thing that makes it work is for you, he gives you a count. 1, 2, 3. Don't wait until you're at 3 3/4 before you take your breath. It's not 1, 2, 3, da, da, da. It's you breathe in tempo. He's going to count and you're going to go, bah, right there. That'll get you in his tempo. Once your body starts breathing in Rich's tempo, you'll be singing in his tempo. Okay?
If you're in. Keep that lifting, keep that engagement up. Almost lunchtime, boys. Come on, 2-minute drill here. 1, 2, 3.
If you're analytical, sensitive, or critical, you'll like it more the farther back you stand. But to me, it's fully, it satisfies me fully when I hear that thunder close at hand. From the new Ashmolean marching society and students, conservatory marching society and students, conservatory band.
Yay.
Baritone is in what a band. I heard somebody the first two notes sing the tenor note an octave down. What a band. I heard a baritone go, what a, and then you went to the correct last note, but make sure it's what a band. Get on the right note the first two notes. All right. Nice job, guys. Really good job there.
One time all the way through and we'll break.
12:30, sir, yes, sir.
What time?
12:30.
12:30?
We got,
Woo!
we got plenty of time to mess this up.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, you know what? You know what? Let's do it and run it and then have them start the ballot and see what happens next year.
For the whole thing, how are we going? You're about to see. Yeah, so, and we're gonna work out some, when we come back from lunch, we'll work out the details with a lot of the props and things. But do what you got, and then we'll review at least what we've done so far with the props. And then we'll start the ballot. So the key here is gonna be finding out if we can have the vocal and visual and mental awareness, okay? If we can be engaged enough through the applause so that we can begin this ballad the way we started it this morning. When we've got the heartbeat going and the audience going crazy and confetti bombs and you're like, yes, we nailed it! Whew, inside. Okay, to go to something of, okay, and getting into it that way. That's the challenge, okay? And here's a little tip. If you want more time to breathe and catch your breath and relax before you sing the ballad,
Get a lot of applause.
nail the uptake.
Right. Get a standing ovation on the uptake. Plenty of time.
As soon as we stop, your job is to, with your full face on, of thank you, is to,
That's where we have Val. We'll have Val.
nice full breaths, okay? Here we go. Ra-ta-ta, right at the top of the song. Ladies and gentlemen, your sixth competitor of the morning, under the direction of Rich Gray, the Pine Barrens Chorus.
You're breathing, and your bodies need to be alive, even though it's, not the ballad, but your bodies need to be alive.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here they come, drop the sunlight on their trumpets. Here they come, drop the banners ringing high. And throw up the lovers of the feeling. And the bright of the fires in my eyes. Here they come with the clarinets a wailing. Here they come rather bravely up the square. And I know in a moment I'll be cheering. And my fine Sunday hat will be high in the air for the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band. It's the new Ashmolean, could have been the Pole. Now! With all those deadly instruments in hand. There are those who favor the Philharmonic flavor, but to me, the finest in the land is the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Though they march only slightly out of tempo, though they play just a trifle out of tune, it's just a suggestion of the of the sound of the hammer beneath the moon. Though the trombone's a little independent, and the drummer is not exactly sure, still the old kind of spirit is upon me, and I shout every time at the top of my voice for the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band. If you're analytical, sensitive, or critical, you'll like it more the farther back you stand. But to me, it's fully, it satisfies me fully when I hear the thunder close at hand. From the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band. Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band.
applause, 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 applause. We figured out a way to get rid of all this stuff.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I've loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue. All around are reminders of a time when love has just begun, but she's gone. I'll never love again, my time is done. The party's over. It's time to call it a day. She's burst my pretty balloon and taken the moon away. It's time to wind up the masquerade.
Okay.
I know we want to do the whole thing.
Yeah, let's deal with let's deal with it. So, as I was sitting out there, as I was standing out there listening to the first song, it's going really, really well, and about 2/3 of the way through, and that's the every uptune on about from the 2/3 to the 3/4 mark begins to lose energy unless you're really conscious that it needs to lift up energy. And that's what happened in that song. About 2/3 of the way through, somewhere around, so let's for a minute think about that. Why does that kind of thing happen? Run out of breath?
Thinking about lunch.
Run out of energy, thinking about lunch? Run out of focus, fatigue is setting in just a little bit? Okay.
I think guys think too much about the move and less about the singing at that point.
Right, but it's coming out of that move we never regained.
Right.
Why would that be?
How about overconfidence in what you're doing?
Overconfidence?
Thinking you're doing so well that you...
Oh, that you lose your focus a little bit. It's like the golfer who is shooting a great round and then hits the last 3 holes and then their concentration's gone and they just kind of, they polish it off with 3 double bogeys and, so.
Can't get the bar to it.
So, okay, that could be it, and it could be different things for different people. But what I think it points up is that it is really important to keep that energy level and that focus level really high and to never let yourself at any point be anywhere but the moment you're in and the upcoming moment. It's, life is a series of moments happening one after each other. And what's just happened can't be controlled. When we're on stage, there are 2 things you can't do. You can't spend any time worrying about what just went wrong, and you can't spend time celebrating what just went right, because you've always got the next thing that has to come up, right? And we would love to be able to in the middle of the song, have that moment, and every now and then you'll have that moment that you're thinking, this is really going great. Those are dangerous moments, because if you're thinking, this is really going great, you're not thinking about what's coming up. Now and that's a hard thing to do. Sometimes it can work, but most of the time you have to stay right in the moment. And I remember Harry Williamson said this one time. Don't be focused on how you're doing. Be focused on what you're doing. Okay? And so what happened is that energy died, and then there was uncertainty in the middle about what are we going to do between songs. And we never fully gained the chorus focus that we had when we first started this song this morning. So the lesson is focus at all costs.
Be great all the time.
The lesson is focus at all times. You'll be great if you focus. I heard you focused this morning. You'll be great if you focus at all times. If you let yourself go somewhere other than what you're doing right in that moment and that phrase the breath for that phrase that's coming up, you won't be doing your best work. Because at this point, that first song is not really that physically taxing. I'm looking at it, and there's not that much that should have anybody out of breath. But there is plenty to take you out of focus. And that's what you need to gather is your focus. Does that make sense? When you're focused, the sound is really terrific to listen to. The energy is there. When you're not, it's not terrible. You know, Rich stopped that because, like any director, when he knows where your 100% is, he hates putting up with your 85%. You know, I mean, seriously, that's really what it is. There are, you know, he doesn't believe this.
You will build.
He
muscle
doesn't
memory.
believe this, but a year ago he'd have been delighted with what he just couldn't listen to anymore.
Right.
I'm serious. A year ago, he'd have been delighted to hear you continue singing that way. Today, he couldn't stand it any longer.
No offense.
No, but that's no. I mean, I've been there. I've been there. I know what that's like. I know how much better you can be than this, and so I'm not going to let you get in the habit of being less than that. I'm not going to let you burn one instant of that into your muscle memory. And I'm not going to let you feel like it's okay to sing under your level. And that's why he did that. Now, understand this. He can't do that on the contest stage. He is stuck with what you give him. Okay? So you have to be really focused and give him your best. Your best quality, your best energy, your best focus. All the time. I'd like to see you run that package again. And this time I want you to really be conscious in the middle, 2/3 of the way, at the 66.6666% mark of that uptune. And you can decide where that is. I want you to really get focused on what you need to do to keep the quality and energy of that performance and of that sound at your highest level.
All righty.
Yeah, by the way, if this run through isn't at your 100%, we skip lunch and just keep on rehearsing. Let's get this one where it needs to be.
Those of you, and good, thank you, John, for remembering, and Chris, after when we're out here, you had your spots where you would move back, you're gonna turn and go, kind of the random positioning things. After lunch, we'll dive into, you were a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. Those of you who were at the last rehearsal, for taking off the tunics, we'll iron that out, so. Remember, I forgot to get done that too, so kudos to you.
Okay, let's go. Let's kick it up. Let's kick it up a notch, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 6th competitor of the evening, representing Cherry Hill, New Jersey, under the direction of Rich Gray, the Pine Barrens Chorus.
Applause, applause, everybody. Cheers, yells, throws hotel room keys. Right. Woohoo!
1, 2, 3, 4.
And the bride of the brides of my eyes. Here they come with their clarinets a-wailing. Here they come rather bravely up the square. And I know in a moment I'll be cheering. And my fine Sunday hat will be high in the air for the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Guitar and Glory Band. Yes, the new Ashmolean could have been Napoleon. All those deadly instruments in hand. to me, the finest in the land is the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, though they march only slightly out of tempo, though they praise just a trifle out of tune, there's just a suggestion of the of the sound of the hammer beneath the mood, though the trombone's a little independent.
Keep the energy up here.
It's not exactly choice, still the old college spirit is upon me, and I shout every time at the top of my voice for the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Student Conservatory Band. If you're analytical, sensitive, or critical, you'll like it more the farther back you stand. But to me, it's fully, it satisfies me fully when I hear that thunder close at hand. From the new Ashmolean Marching Society and Students Conservatory Band. Students Conservatory Band.
Now you are smiling and breathing deeply, and now the audience is still reveling in that performance, but you are thinking about the ballad. You are thinking about the ballad. You're breathing fully.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I'm loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue.
Keep telling the story, guys.
All around are reminders of a time when love had just begun.
Let's see the transition, emotional transition.
But she's gone. I'll never love again. My time is the party's over. It's time to call it a day. She's burst my pretty balloon and taken the moon away. It's time to wind up the masquerade. I made my mind up. The piper must be paid. The party's over. The pictures faded and blurred. We danced and dreamed through the night. It seemed to be right, just being with her. Now I must wake up. All dreams must end. Dreams must end. Too late to make up. The party's over. It's all over. Martin Ashmolean and I long for sunshine to follow dawn. Each true
Applause. And stay in the mood. Stay in the mood while you're accepting the applause. Okay. Okay. So that started that ballad. The uptune held its energy a lot better. It was 75% of the way from the first performance to what you're capable of. You understand what I mean? It was a lot better, but it still can be a little better than that. And the ballad started really nice and strongly. It felt like it lost energy along about the middle of it. Rich, would you say it kind of began to fragment? The sound kind of began to... Yep. Yeah, so starting at about... Over, time to call it a day. It's time to wake up. Probably right before the pause, before the leads come in on their unison solo, when the party's over. That's where it felt like it went from, we're all telling this story, we're telling this story with conviction and passion, to, oh, wow, it's getting late. I haven't eaten since like 9. All I had was a donut. Man, my blood sugar is low. Okay, that's kind of where it went there at that moment. It was good up till then. And so what happened is when you tried to regather it and sing the powerful stuff, it wasn't coming from your bodies, and it was just kind of, sort of, I don't mean this word quite as harshly in the sense where you were kind of flailing at the big moments in that instead of singing them with quality. And I've heard you do it, and part of it is fatigue. You know, part of it is fatigue. I'm always a little bit. I always feel like on these day-long rehearsals that start at 9 in the morning. This is just for future reference. I never think donuts and coffee is a great idea, and the reason for that is the sugar thing and the caffeine thing. You know, my preference would be a little bit of protein and some fruit. You know, something that's actually a nourishing breakfast that can keep you going.
Nobody will show up.
Well, right, you can say, hey, we'll have apples. But
How do you like them apples?
You know, so you've been going now for 3 hours and 15 minutes almost on donuts and coffee. And so it's not a surprise that the energy and the mental focus becomes an issue at that point.
Fortunately, we got to order a nice healthy lunch.
You ordered pizza. So there is nothing that clogs the arteries like barbershop, is there? So, but just be aware, on contest day, eating a good light and healthy breakfast, because you're going to sing probably around 11 o'clock or so. If the contest starts at 9 a.m. and you sing 9:30, figured about 15 minutes for each chorus, that would put you on stage at 11 o'clock. The contest starts at 9:30. So, you know, my suggestion would be that sometime within 3 to 2 hours beforehand, you want to nourish yourselves with something good for you, not just coffee and donuts, something that's, you know, gonna keep your blood sugar levels even, and I bet you that'll make you focus a little bit better. You've worked really hard so far this morning. In the afternoon session, what we're gonna want to do is work on the stamina, work on the actual logistics of the transitions from one song to the other, and work on the mental focus in those transition moments. Because that's also another place where if we're not really fully focused on what we're doing, those transitions can be a problem. Now, because basically they judge the two songs as two separate entities, I would say don't, even if the applause dies before you expect it to, do not rush into that second song. Let the characterization play itself. Let the audience feel the emotional transition and see the visual transition, and give your guys plenty of time to breathe. As directors and as chorus singers, or if you've ever been in a quartet that's been in a contest and you had, you know, all your stuff between the songs planned and the applause stopped, and you still had half of your stuff left to do, it's a really uncomfortable feeling. And for directors, when that applause, I mean, like as soon as that last little clap happens, I want to be into the next song. But the problem with that, especially when you're going from uptune to ballad, is that the chorus, you guys need time to breathe. You need time for the mechanics of singing your best, which is breathing. And in this song, you need time for the emotional setup. You know, creating those moments where people, you know, drop their instruments and do whatever it is they need to do because the party's over. So
Yeah, we're
we'll
gonna be
work on
letting,
that.
we're gonna be letting confetti finish falling. That's gonna be a help to just, that's all part of the mood. You know, they don't know it yet, but that's gonna be part of it. And so and I'm a big proponent of that too. I like to have the room at a hush before we, I want that pitch pipe at a hush, and the pitch is going, and that pitch becomes powerful. It's the only sound in the room, and it becomes this force in the room, you know.
Bruce's telephone.
As soon as we get done, listen, as pitch people, as soon as we cut off the uptune, I'm going to take applause, get it blowing. Okay. Get it blowing. It's going to take a minute or two for, a second or two for everybody to get it, okay, amongst the applause, and the sooner we can pick it up here, the better. So, yeah, as soon as I turn around and as soon as we cut off and confetti's going and all the chaos is going, it's going in that moment. So that as soon as it dies off, it's just, and then it becomes the only thing in the room.
Yeah, and as a metaphor, it's like the party has flatlined. You know, it's like, okay.
That's good.
Scott, you came through after the first song and you were saying breathe, breathe, and it was so important because I realized when you did that.
You're not breathing, right.
And after a couple of deep breaths, and I can get into that. And so it's really
Right.
critical to take those deep breaths. And
Yeah, and it's part of
I
your,
wasn't doing it.
it's actually should become part of your technique. As soon as that uptune cuts off, you're looking at that audience and they think you're thinking, thank you, we love you. And what you're thinking is, breathe. Yeah, you're taking slow, deep breaths while graciously accepting the audience's appreciation. And you're taking those deep, but that should be like, you gotta do that right away. That's what you do. And you're breathing. As you go through rehearsals, pay attention to the number of times that you hold your breath. Like right now, about half of you are holding your breath. As you're listening to me talk, half of you are, I can feel it. Pay attention, because the more you can breathe, the more energy you're gonna have, the more singing space you're gonna have. Just keep breathing, and you'll yawn from time to time. The truth is, you will. If you're breathing, your body is not used to processing all that oxygen. And how many of you, when you go work out, yawn, like afterwards, you yawn for it? Your body is not used to processing all that oxygen.
Do what?
Or an workout. I would say that, yeah, I agree. You've kept, although there were detailed things that we will want to work on over the next couple of weeks, the energy, entire uptune, the energy was much better.
Yeah.
As a result, far more in tune coming into the tag.
Right.
The last chord had a much better impact.
Right.
It'll be even better. And I thought we started the ballad pretty good, and that's where our stamina and our focus and all that's going to come into play, is knowing where we are in the game and knowing we ain't done yet. You know, that's a key part.
And it's a challenge. I mean, the truth is, singing the ballad second is a challenge. Just because of the breathing, settling your body down. It's a challenge.
June is busting out all over. How about? And back row, I need to know, regardless of what number you were, we're going to try something here. You're going to do your ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. The party's over. All together. So you kind of have, you're reminiscing of the trumpets and the ra-ta-ta-ta.
like that.
You're realizing that when they said, while they're saying the party's over, you're going to kind of, yep, that's going
Yeah, the
to.
whole tenor section is going to do that right after that rock.
Okay.
I like that.
And down.
I like that.
Okay? Let's try it.
Are you gonna say the 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you the next couple of times, but I need you to start making note. And guys, again, if you miss your group, you know, raise your hands ones. Raise your hands twos. Raise your hands threes. Raise your hands fours. Raise your hands fives. Good. And where I want that is, we want to be done by shoot, these things are dropping like flies. I long for sunshine. I think it's probably a good place to have us all when you're gonna. And we talked about doing. I long for sunshine. Square to the audience and a press up on the swipe. Shine to follow dawn. Each moon. Back to me. Okay, peacefully, everything, and that's the end of the song. But we know that for the new Ashmolean band. If you haven't taken yours off while they're doing that, you're getting it off. So fives, raise your hands
I gotta have it
again.
off before I.
All right, good. We'll go with the threes.
Three.
Threes, raise your hand. Twos, go with the twos.
Twos?
Okay?
Okay, what are the twos?
We'll tell you, I'll signal you, okay? So the baritones, you know, anybody who's left, you can all do that one together. But if you haven't taken them off, you're gonna do it on For the New Ashmolean Band. And I Long is all together, okay?
And don't be distracted because the tenors are going to do it as a section. Okay?
Make sure those hand gestures are big and proud, elbows out, you know, big and proud to start.
Yeah. And the hands will come down just like his. It's ra-ta-ta-ta.
Slow all the way down. All right,
Then it's the lead.
there we
When
go.
the party's over, take it off.
So, what up, babe? Remember, I'm taking the 1, 2, 3. Boom! And 1, 2. Breathing deep.
Right now you're breathing, and you're really focused on the space and the sound and the emotion of this first phrase.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I'm loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue. All around are reminders of a time when love had just begun.
Should we get back there?
But she's gone.
Let's hit that real quick. The front row. Yes, you were. And here's what I don't want. Okay? I need to know that you're turning and going back. Okay? And I don't want your full back, but your side for sure. Okay? All around are reminders of the time when love has just begun. Okay, I don't want the mechanical backing up thing,
Right.
okay?
And
I
I
want
would
you to
even
turn and
feel
walk
free.
back.
You've got this line, reminders of the time. La da da, are reminders of the time. You know, you've got all this stuff scattered all over the stage that are reminders for you. So go ahead and let yourself, you know, what is it, all the da da da.
Around reminders.
What are the words before reminders of the time? All around. So front row. We need is all around are reminders of the time. You know, let us see that. And back rows, by the way, you can have a little bit of that with you too. All around you and in front of you are reminders of this. So allude to it. All around are reminders of the time. Go ahead and let yourself do that. You don't have to take your eyes off Rich to do that.
And that'll be the starting point, is all around. And it's not a thing where, again, front word doesn't have to go all around. It's not that.
Right.
It's very casual, very random, but in the same time frame. So front row, all around are reminders of the time.
So that means we all move at the same time?
Yes.
Roughly.
Yeah, yeah. You don't. It doesn't need to be unified, but it needs to be at approximately the same time. The movement needs to be. You need to be. It needs to be sadness, but purposeful. It can't. In other words, it can't just be. You don't want the audience to feel like.
Have you noticed that the front row is milling about aimlessly?
It can't be that. It's got to be purposeful. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to feel like it's coming from your soul that you chose that moment to start.
Here we go. And one.
Now you're transitioning and you're breathing.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I'd say that's true. For I've loved and lost, now every little thing appears a dollar hue. All around are reminders of a time when love had just begun, but she's gone. I'll never love again, my time is done. The party's over. It's time to call it a day. She's burst my pretty balloon and taken the moon away. It's time to wind up the masquerade. I've made my mind up. The piper must be paid. The party's over. The pictures fade and blur. We dance and dream through the night. It seems to be right. Just be with her. Now I must wake up. All dreams must end. Too late to make up.
Okay, I'm going to stop. Those of you who are in group 5 definitely panicked because you were the only ones that still had your tunics on and ditched them long before.
Right.
For the new Ashmolean band. That's when you want to be done by that point, which means just before that. Okay, so just because
you
you're
are the 5s.
one of you're the last group, Art, we were one of the last ones over here, 5, okay? You guys be strong in the fact that you still got it on.
Right.
Okay?
You're like the last holdouts. You're like this. We're gonna daggone it. We're gonna have a party.
You were a 3, you were really late.
Right.
Because you were still last. But remember too, guys, and it's really good, there are a few things synchronization-wise happening, cutoffs and attacks, because you're thinking about the thing. That's okay for this time. But remember, the idea behind this is when you take your tunic off, the spotlight's on you. You become my storyteller at that moment. And for the next 3, 4, 5 lines. And you've got to emote as if you're standing right there by yourself in front of the whole crowd, and they're all watching you. Because when you move, they're going to look at you, aren't they? Especially you number ones. So as soon as you start moving, they're watching you. And when you take it off, boy, you got to be just emoting and telling a story. Make them understand why you took it off. Don't let them guess as to what it was. Okay?
Did you signal us, Richard? Because I didn't notice it. Were you signaling us when to take it off?
I did.
Again, I didn't actually see it. That's why I was.
So you're gonna do.
This.
Oh, I didn't
This.
see that.
Did you really do that? Yes.
I never saw it.
Well, what happened was guys started panicking. I did the first 2, but then guys just started going, and that's okay. But if you're in that last group, I need you to keep it on until for the new Ashmolean. Okay? So 5s, raise your hand. Keep them on loud and proud until for the new, and take them off there. Okay? So that it's. And then. I need that crest that says, now look at it, it's all uniformed, our tux.
And that we come in too late for our.
Right.
Yeah, sunshine is out.
So, move purposefully but not quickly.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay?
That's yours. Just
Yes.
I'm not dropping my tunic right away. I'm still hanging on to it.
Good for you.
And it gives a second move. I drop it when number 2 takes theirs off.
Cool. Love it.
Oh, you're taking off and holding on to
Hold
it.
on to it a little bit longer.
Actually, many people did that.
Yeah, and
Many
I like
people
that.
did that.
And
It's a
one
good
of the things
look.
I just told the tenor section that you can do, you know, I mean, you need to keep your eyes on Rich, but also, I mean, that's a great, as an acting thing, that's a great thing, because you're taking it off, but you're still not sure you want to really commit to it being over.
Especially number
But when when you toss it, you know, don't just, I wouldn't say just drop it down. Let the audience see that you finally let go of it. You're holding it, you find party's over. You know, holding something in your hand is a great way to express emotion as a F1. So use it.
If you do that, I would say to look at it.
Right.
This is the thing I'm having to let go of.
Right.
And know the difference between tossing it aside and hurling it to the floor.
Yeah.
Know the difference. Because if one of them goes to the floor too abruptly, our bubble of emotion will burst.
Right.
And we won't get them back. So don't let it be.
You don't want to make the noise.
Okay, and you don't want the noise, so you gotta look at it before you do it, it's gotta be.
But you're still dropping.
And it doesn't matter that it's not the
And
same
it's,
time.
no,
I
and
think
it's,
it's effective that it's not.
that's why I say, and that's why I kinda was saying, good, love it.
Right.
Because
and-
what I don't want is, okay, and how many counts on that, and and what number
Right.
should I, because you know what, Al's doing that because he knows when it comes off, the spotlight's on him, and as a storyteller, he's doing that. Now, some of you may be able to take that and do it in your own way. If some of you do, I don't care who. You analytical guys are gonna hate this part, but I don't care.
The other
That's
thing
just
about
what
it is this.
Let it be what it is.
If you miss your group, you don't necessarily have to wait for the next group to go, because it's this. You don't want the audience reception to be, oh, they told those guys to do it first and those guys to do it. We want to feel like it's you all individually coming to this realization at different times.
We're not robots?
That's correct. So that's why I say, like, when you guys in the front row go back, you know, Tony out of his peripheral vision is going to see Chris go. And what I don't want is Tony to go, oh shoot, I gotta hurry up.
Right.
Done.
Right.
The bubble burst right there.
Right.
You will not get him back. I want Tony to go, there he went. You know what, I understand why too.
Yeah,
I'm kind of feeling the same thing.
right, and nobody, and he used the word, feel like it's urgent, nobody has to hurry in this song. You want the music to be urgent, but you do not want the visual to feel frantic or hurried or rushed.
Just the only important thing, again, my fives, raise your hand, fives. Good. Brad, RJ, Jules, who else? I need a couple more.
Yeah, we need at least.
I need at least
on this
one
side.
more person to just not, somebody more visible. What do you, Mike?
Dave's missing.
Gary, I thought you were five.
Dave's not here, we'll have him hold on too. Dave's good, we'll have Dave. So, you guys are most important. You guys are most important, no matter what, you do not take off your top until... For the new Ashmolean band. That's when you're moving. For the new Ashmolean band. And on long, on the word long, it should be I long. Everybody plants their feet, sticks their chests out, unified chorus in a tuxedo. The costumes are gone, and we, the Pine Barrens, are taking the stage and delivering a song. That word long needs to be powerful, both visually and emotionally, with your feet slightly more than shoulder width apart, your chest out, your elbows back. I long for sunshine. Squared out to the audience. Shine. There's a move there, so I want this shine to follow dawn, and you slowly, at your pace, come back to me, but not for me. Okay?
Question, technical question. Do we want a breath after the word long?
No.
Boy, all day long I've been getting breaths by a lot of people after that long. The big chord on long, I long for sunshine. I've been hearing that from a lot of people. Yeah, every single run through.
The move needs to be on sun, that's the downbeat. I long for sunshine.
Long for sunshine. I want the big chord. Shine. You're gonna be moving into it on shine. I mean, I don't know.
I think you can play it on long. I think you can go down the tiles on long.
On long?
Yeah. To the Bohem band, I long for sun. Maybe make it a two-step, like a I long. Put it out there on long and then square it on sunshine. On sun.
Okay.
Feet in your body. I long for sunshine. Yeah. We need to feel that. We need to feel. From the audience, the visual we need is that the chorus opens up on long and they hit you on sunshine.
Just remember, the power of the music isn't on sun. Sun is the cur, shine is the plunk. So the planting, I long for sunshine, shine. Okay, musically, that's where I want the press, the first press. I long for sunshine to follow dawn. All right.
Can I give a couple of musical notes?
Please.
From the beginning? The last several times you've sung it, the second time you sing the words every little thing, I'm not getting chords there. I'm getting missung notes there. The last few times you've done it. Can we just run that?
Mm-hmm.
The other one is the baritones on the lyric Love Had Just Begun.
Love had just begun.
Yeah, baritones, we're losing your support. The sound is thinning out and flattening on that nine. You need to really keep the vowel, the height of the vowel, and the pitch tall, the focus tall, and a lot of breath in that sound, a lot of air moving through that sound.
So we've got an emphasis point we haven't touched in a few weeks when we learned the song, really here, Barry bass, when love, UH, when love, right? We're lifting and spinning that, lifting and spinning on a pure UH. So just tie love to begun and make that all one lifted word. When love had just begun. Okay? That's all one lifted word, okay? Here we go.
One other thing, when we sing, what's the baritone?
For the new.
We're singing with them and had to change the words, the basis. Maybe the tenor part.
You're singing with us.
Ask for anyone,
You sing the back time words.
but we have to sing their words now. Yeah.
Yeah. Pay attention to those notes on every little thing, guys. Here, we're going to cut off from the up tune. And hold on with the pitch, we're finishing. Bang! Boom! Woo. And one. Hey!
You're breathing. See, some people that forget.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I'm loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue.
From love and loss now, every little thing. We're not getting chords there.
I hear them as chords. I may just have heard them
Yeah.
long enough.
Can
that
we just hear each section sing it and make sure everybody's singing the right notes?
movement, everybody's directing.
Some say love.
Everybody not directing. Everybody's not directing. Shake, shake, shake. Let's move a little bit, okay? Everybody's moving, because when you're moving, you're directing. When you're directing, you're doing better. You're lifting. You're being a proactive singer. Here we go. Everybody engaged.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I'm loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue.
Good. That was better. Can I give you another word too? It's just bothering me, and some of us are rushing it faster than others. Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I'd say me, why I'd say. Right now I get me, I'd say, and there's no juice there. Right. There's emotion in singable consonants, I believe. So the more singable consonant we can sing, the more big deal we can make out of it, the better. And some of us are doing and for me, and some of us are doing me, I'd say. Okay? And for me, I'd say. Too quick, whoever just did that. And for me, I'd say that's true. Talk it with me.
And for me, I'd say that's true.
Now that I'll take. That I'll do one more time.
And for me,
one more time. I'm going to change on you. You can only go when I give it to you. You have no choice, because I'm the one who's going to do it. Here we go.
And for me, I'd say that's true.
Once again.
And for me, I'd say that's true.
Love it. Last time.
And for me, I'd say that's true.
Good. Let's sing.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I'm loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue. All around are reminders of the time when love had just begun, but she's gone. I'll never love again, my time is done.
I just said, you know what I just heard? It was going so beautifully. Baritones, nice job in the ends of both of those phrases. And it was going so beautifully, and then it was, when time is done. I heard 5 or 6 separate S's. Plus I heard some breaths that aren't supposed to be there. Of is done.
You ran out of breath there.
All that stuff, but not before done.
You have to breathe before that.
Yeah, let's talk about this, because I know I've talked about this in this course before. If you need to take a catch breath, you need to know where your director doesn't want you to take those catch breaths, and I'm guessing anything, he doesn't want you to take it right before the word done. You also need to know this. If you're grabbing a catch breath and there is an S at the end of the word you're grabbing a catch breath on, don't put the S on the word. I wouldn't have heard that if somebody had gone, my love is done. But it's hearing the S in there, somebody trying to finish the word really fast because they need to take a breath. If you find yourself in a place during the song where suddenly you realize, oh, I need a breath, I don't know the big enough one, leave words out, leave finishing consonants out, and especially S's, T's, and anything that'll disrupt the sound. Everybody sing the word is. On this pitch, on the same pitch, is. How many of you could hear what I was doing?
Yes.
Just then. Okay, you could have been 105 guys. If one person puts an S in there when everybody else is holding a vowel, the audience will hear that S. Okay, so that's a rule. Do not put an S in. If you're trying to grab a breath, don't finish that word, because that's what the audience will hear. And then you'll have compounded the problem, because you'll have run out of breath and you'll have messed up the precision of the song and the clarity of the lyric.
And this is the same as the other one. The first one was, what's the first one we did? What's the word I just did? Oh, no, me. And for me, I say, too quick, whoever just did that. But this is the same thing. My time is done. S-D-U-N, U-H-N, S-D-U-H-N. That I-H goes until I hook it.
Right.
Okay? So it's my time is done. Okay? So same thing again. Talk it. My time is done. Perfect. Okay? That's how it's got to be. Try it at the top. What is that you have to do?
Concentrate.
In other words, you need focus. Focus. It's you know, I need to hand this over to you, but you still can't sing in spite of me on certain reminders, because certain reminders are going to keep you together.
Yeah, and certain things also, take it from a director's standpoint, if something is really beautiful, a director wants the option to say, oh, I like that chord, it's creating a lot of emotion, I want to linger on it for a moment. We'll choose 3 or 4 spots in a song. Like I say, I have my chorus take things except for the 3 or 4 spots where they really need me. But on those spots where they really need me, I want them to really be focused on what I'm asking for. Because it might be a moment where, God, this chord sounds so good. I want the audience to wallow in that mood for a moment, for longer. And you'll do it. And he'll want to do that too. So then, here we go. Everybody's lifting and directing.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I'd say that's true. For I've loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue. All around are reminders of a time when love begun. should fade and blur. We dance and dream through the night, it seemed to be right, just being with her. Now I must wake up, all dreams must end, too late to make up, the party's over, it's all over.
There's the groove.
For the midnight morning and I long for sunshine to follow dawn. It's true, dawn, but not for me. I'll not move on. The party's over, for she is gone. She is gone. Love is gone. It's all over.
Just cut off.
Watch that big one there, guys. You need to have enough to go as long as I want to hold you. It sounds like a couple of parley berries and bases, maybe, but maybe the top half of the leaves are losing out oxygen on the last half of that, and so it starts good. And then it kind of starts to tinker out right when we need more, so.
So you need to get it off a little sooner so that you can do the turnout on I Long for Sunshine.
Yeah, when you hear, for the new Ashmolean, that's the
By the
line.
time they're at band, it needs to be off.
Yeah, I think part of that was that there's, I think there's probably still uncertainty. I know there is with me
sure.
on inserting those new words and stuff.
Yeah, because you're saying them too.
And then all of a sudden
Right.
I'm hearing the words and I'm like, oh yeah, but I don't, but I don't want to do it too fast.
And everybody's in your heads a little bit, which is why I'm not being quite as picky about the musical things as I would be, because everybody's,
But
there's a
I'll
lot
tell
to think
you,
about.
musically, I mean,
A lot of good stuff.
I like the dynamic, and I like the flow, and I like the involvement, you know?
Can we, I feel like we're shooting the gun too early on the word long. It's kind of like, new Ashmolean band, I love, got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I long, it's got to lift and get to where sunshine can grow from long.
Well, yeah, because we have long for sunshine, but that's not even it, is it?
No.
Line. And that's the same thing as in the other one. What a band.
Right. And too many of you are already have the needle in the red on long.
So we're doing I long for sunshine. Okay, that's a whole one big word. Yes, Al?
The last time we sing over, the big over, some people are singing over, or others are singing over.
Yeah, that's the one I think where the leads are supposed to go over, and everyone else is supposed to go over.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm.
Yeah, that happened this morning. We addressed it, but it's been forgotten.
Over. The party's over.
I hear it in my left ear though, going quick.
Yeah,
Well, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that have happened here with the taking on and off. One is tenors have jumped the gun every time on their solo.
Yes. Yes, right.
Because you're thinking or whatever, and you're jumping it, and then they can't get in time. And the same thing's happening with the berries a little bit. And that just throws off the going into and coming out of. So just be aware, every time leads, it's not, oh, it's always over her, and they do the extra syllables, okay?
Can I give some props here?
Please.
Okay, Al.
Yes, sir.
When he takes that tunic off, I can't take my eyes off him for about the next half of the song because he's so engaged in telling the story and creating the emotion just really at a high level, at a really high level for the whole time, and it's really, really good. So I wanted to let you know that it really is effective. Baritones, nice job on the word hue. Of keeping that pitch, when there's a swipe on that word hue, but you stay on the same note. You have to add support in space and actually lift the pitch a tiny bit on the second note. And you've been doing it the last couple of times, and it's really good. Also, really good job on Love Had Just Begun, filling that out. So really nice job there. Okay, those are the props.
Excellent. Put them back on. So again, I know, without the groups, some of us are just going rogue, and we're going rogue too soon. Okay, so we're just going, and all of a sudden everybody starts going. Okay, it should be a few here, and then we sing for a little bit, and then a couple of things happening. So if you forget or you think you forgot, fine, but everybody cannot panic and start taking them off. And I got two guys for half that song left.
You know what I'd rather see from the audience standpoint? I'd rather see, if you've forgotten, I'd rather see you wait.
Yep.
Here's
Here's what happens: it becomes a constant.
Right.
And now it's just messy.
Right.
It's got to be a, and then after another minute or so, it's, okay. When you see that, right, what I had that time was a constant, because guys panicked. Right. And am I at 2 or 3? Oh shit, I'm going 2, and it was nonstop. And now I just have this mess happening visually, and it's not effective at that point. It's just a mishmash.
You used to take off on 4 before, and this one you took off on 2.
Who cares what I do?
Yeah, he doesn't matter.
Oh, you're going off a minute. Right.
No.
Okay?
No.
Hey, I'm going whenever the spirit moves me.
Right.
That's prerogative, Rich.
But I haven't figured out where I'm going.
The point is, don't, less than halfway through that song, but a few guys had them off. And when we got to the baritone swipe or the final guys, we had exactly 2 guys that still had to take them off.
5s, raise your hand. Okay? Definitely you had yours off. Definitely you had yours off. Who else? Brad was the only one with it still on.
I almost had it on till the end.
Yeah, right. He wore it off.
He got, okay, but him and Dave and you, okay? Do not move until for the new Ashmolean.
Take it off during that phrase, or
During. You can do it right during, yep.
All right.
Yeah.
What's the phrase for 3? Because I cannot see your finger.
Well, I'm trying not to do them, but I don't know. I have to see it through again. Let's see.
Guys, it feels like I've stumbled into a convention of a band made up of X-ray technicians. So
Let's do it this much through, and then we'll take a little, take 5, okay? But it's gotta be a good one. You want 5, you gotta give me a good one.
Turn your head and cough.
Here we go. Here we go. Bam! We turn back, go ahead and take them off. Hey! And when I turn around, you're squared to the audience at this point, right? Because of the release. When I turn around, please turn in with me based on this hand. Here we go.
you're breathing.
Some say love changes every little thing, and for me, I say that's true. For I've loved and lost, now every little thing appears a duller hue. All around are reminders of a time when love just begun. she's gone. I'll never love again, my time is done. The party's over. It's time to call it a day. She's burst my pretty balloon and taken the moon away. It's time to wind up the masquerade. I made my mind up. The piper must be paid. The party's over. The pictures fade and blur. We danced and dreamed through the night. It seemed to be right, just being with her. Now I must wake up. All dreams must end. Too late to wake up. The party's over. It's all over. For the new Ashmolean, I long for sunshine.
So we were good until that line, and we suddenly, I don't know what happened. We all had like an oh shit moment there or something. And from the new Ashmolean, it's just a spot in the new words, kind of got in everybody's head that time. However, quite nice up to that point. Musically, I think visually, I think the timing's about right for all those.
Yeah, I'm gonna write them down here too, just in case.
Good, good. Yeah, the timing's about right. Just remember, you know, that's your time. There's not many times where, as individuals, we get to sort of step out in front of the chorus and be the storyteller. We are a collective storyteller. Some of us, the thought of that makes us, want to hurl, Ron. But I'm going to encourage you to embrace that and find 45 seconds of personal story that you can deliver. And taking it off, in how you set it down, in how you use your hands. The light's on you, use your hands. Remember, and talking about, boy, I wish that, and all these things. It's your time, okay? And the collective unity and power of the unit, the chorus, comes, I long for sunshine. That's where the power of the Class A tuxedo comes into play. It lines up with the music, it lines up with the emotion and the volume level and everything else, and that's why we're doing it. Okay? Yes?
Can we chalk it up to that I'm so involved in the storytelling, that's why I keep forgetting to take it off?
That's right, we'll tell that to the judge when we're done. That's good. Well, it's okay, Judge, he was just so...
But you know what, that brings up something that I think needs to be said. If for some reason you're the one person that forgets to take your tunic off, you have to convince the judges in the audience that you're the only person that got it right. You can't look like you panicked, you can't look like, oh my God, you got to convince them that this is what I meant to do. You know, and now the spotlight's on me, and I'm gonna really make it work.
Well, and guess what? If you miss it, I'm gonna know. They don't necessarily
Right, they don't
you
know.
missed it.
They
So
may think,
like,
I didn't know he was the star of the song, but he's doing a great
if
job.
Chris or John forgets to turn around and walk back in the beginning, if you see me look at you and say, okay, which I never do to any of you, do I? No. Look right at you and, okay?
Do something.
That means, yeah, that means, you know, whatever, okay? So if I do that, that probably means for you, tune it off. Now, don't take that and go, whoosh, you know, just like you meant it, because I'm going to give it to you at a time where it's appropriate, and you'll do it. And so just look for me, and if I give you a nod, you know, that means take your tunic off, okay? That'll be our little secret, and no one will know. Freddie King told me one time, I don't know if he told me or he told someone they passed on to me, he said you had, you know, a guy that in the chorus, his voice would always cut through, always cut through, always cut through. And so he said, look, I'm gonna have a signal just for you. And I don't know what it was, but if you see me doing this, that means you are singing too loud. Only you. And only you and I are gonna know about this whole thing. So every time you see me do this, I want you just to back off, sing with a little more air, and do whatever. Well, it turns out there were about 45 guys in the chorus that had this signal that thought it was just for them. You know, and, just another great story of the great Freddie. So yeah, timing's great, guys. I mean, I think it's perfectly laid out. Keep it relaxed. And these motions are going to be much like trombone and drummer, okay? We need to support sound through them and lift through them. I tell you, the engagement of it. How many of you feel more connected to the song knowing we have this, your personal spot in there? I mean, does it make you feel more connected to it? And then the next piece is going to be, I long for sunshine to follow dawn. Each new day. Okay, and then the last move that we're going to put in, the last move, Ron, is going to be, for she is gone, love is gone. Okay? If anyone drops their hands faster than that, I'm going to throw my trash can helmet at you. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. And you're going to follow me on the carpet, do it with you. And you immediately just, as soon as we cut off, you're not going to hold them and wait for me to do it. You're just going to go slowly. Now, leads, you be ready. It's all over. Okay, so you're actually going to start singing while the chorus is still bringing down. In chorus, you don't move, you just keep doing your thing. And then, yeah, if you want to turn your head slightly down, I don't want the full down, but okay. Let's go with that for the, yes.
We're having trouble from when the new Ashmolean band, we can't find our, either it's not syncing right, or I don't know if we're just, the timing's off, going right.
The words have freaked you out.
Something
Messing with my friend.
Yeah, it's freaked the baritones out too.
We can't find out where we're coming in.
Freaks the bass.
At least one.